गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः. We are in Jnaneshwari Bhavartha Deepika, chapter 18, verse number 10. And in the last few weeks, we have been seeing the Tamasic Tyaga, Rajasic Tyaga, and Sattvic Tyaga. And now, what's the next step? What happens when we come to the sattva? Something has to happen, no? If we are going through a journey of giving up, when you have given up sattva, rajas, and tamas, the tyaga, and we saw the difference. The tamas was giving up the karma itself. Rajas was giving up the karma because of the ensuing hardship, and the sattvic tyaga was sangam tyaktva phalam cha. So it was giving up the sangha, attachment to the phala, as well as see, now when you have done this and you are practicing it consistently in your life, then something interesting will happen. And what happens, that is going to be told in the 10th verse. Here towards the end, Jnaneshwar Maharaj said, then with the purification of his sattva, he becomes enlightened in regards to the true nature of the self. Just as the mirage vanishes as soon as the evening sets in, the deceptive appearance of the universe, like that of the sky which looks blue without being so, vanishes. So here Jnaneshwar Maharaj is straight away taking to enlightenment. But the next verse is going to tell us something which I mentioned towards the end of the class last week, and that is the verse will say, na dveshtya kushalam karma, na dveshtya kushalam karma, kushalena anushajyate, tyagi sattva samavishto, मेधावी छिन्न संशयः. Together, न द्वेष्ट्य कुशलं कर्म कुशलेनानुषज्यते, त्यागी सत्त्वसमाविष्टो मेधावी छिन्न संशयः. So here he says, the relinquisher imbued with sattva, who is enlightened and free from doubts, hates not evil action, nor is he attached to good action. So what is coming to the peak of sattva? Chinna sanshaya, medhavi chinna sanshaya. peak of Sattva Guna will mean what? Where the corruption of Tamas and Rajas has zeroed out. Till even one corruption is there, till then you cannot go beyond Sattva, isn't it? And as this corruption of Nidra, Alasya, Pramad, and that I am the Karta and the Karma Phala, or the tiredness, whatever was told there, all that is there, till then you cannot come to this Medhavi Sthiti. Who is Medhavi? Medhavi is a stage within Sattva wherein the seeker who has purified himself to such an extent that within his bosom a natural inclination to study scriptures, but more so when he hears the scriptures, in one go the understanding comes. He doesn't have to repeat. Like Krishna Bhagwan, Ram Bhagwan, when they went to their Guru Maharaj, they were Medhavi. Once the Guru said, immediately the knowledge to 3 days over, Krishna Bhagwan. बाकी दिन क्या किया? Time pass. And here we are again and again and again repeating the same thing, and yet having doubts about our own being. Look at this tragedy. We are having doubts about our own being. And for this purification is necessary. If you have considered yourself to be the body, breath, mind, intellect, to be the waker, dreamer, sleeper, meditator, then this person who has accepted this, then he has to go through the process of purification. If he was accepted himself as the consciousness, there is no question of doing anything. The disposition of purification is only for the one who doesn't know and wants to know. And here it says, Na dveshtya kushalam karma. He does not, here it says, he hates not evil action. Yes, that is also true. And he is not attached to good action. But make it more practical. He doesn't tell others what to do and what not to do. He doesn't tell others what to do and what not to do. Na dveshtya. When will you tell others? When you find fault with others, only then you will tell them, isn't it? Na dveshtya kushalam karma. And the second is kushale nanushajjate. And he does, and he is not affected if other people talk to him, tell him whether he is doing good or doing bad or whatever. He is not affected. His activity, nobody is praising me, nobody is motivating me, they are not giving me increment, they are not saying that I am doing good, I am feeling very flat at work because no appreciation. No, our work doesn't get affected whether someone praises or insults. We continue. Now let's see what Jnaneshwar Maharaj says. Where are we? In the 10th one. म्हणवनी प्राचीनाचे निबळे अलंकृते कुशला कुशले तिये व्योमा आंगी आभाळे जिराली जैसी तैसी तयाची ये दिठी कर्मे चोखाळली किरीटी म्हणवनी सुखदुःखी उठी पडे ना तो तेणे शुभ कर्म जाणावे मग ते हर्षे करावे का अशुभा लागी होआवे द्वेषियाना तरी इया विषयींचा काही तया एकुही संदेहो नाही जैसा स्वप्नाच्या ठाई जागिन्नलिया. He says, as the clouds appear and become dissolved in the sky, so whatever actions, good or bad, that he has to perform as a result of his past actions are purified by his vision, and so they are incapable of ensnaring him with pleasure and pain. So, who is this person, who sattvic person, who is not initiating any action, but because of past impressions, they are expressing and prompting him to act in a particular manner, and while they are happening, where are they happening, these actions? Are they happening to the consciousness, or are they happening to the instruments? They are happening at the body, breath, mind, intellect level. So while the activity is going on at the faculty level, he is not disturbed by it. Let it happen. I got nothing to do with it. He is not initiating it, and neither is he expectant of the result, as we saw in the previous verse. Expectant what? Attached to the result. And therefore, they are incapable of ensnaring him with pleasure and pain. Because this understanding, why did this understanding come in this seeker? Because he has purified himself. Therefore, some sadhana, either you do pranayam, either you do japa, either you contemplate, chant Vishnu Sahasranam every day, something has to be done on a regular basis so that we are ever in that process of purification. See, it must become second nature to us. Just as every day we eat breakfast, lunch, dinner, every day we must do some purificatory exercise in the morning and evening. Not in the world. झाड़ू लगाने के निकल गए दुनिया में, वो भी कर सकते हो, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, but that is more shoshabaji. We are talking about purifying your attention. Such a seeker's attention is on himself, not on the world. Okay. And when we have come to this point in the 10th verse, whether that now that purificatory exercise has become so imbibed in him, it has become so imbibed in him that it has become default process. Every morning, just like without thinking, you go brush your teeth, without thinking you go take shower, without thinking you light the lamp. Same way, without thinking, you do japa, you sit for meditation, because only then meditation will begin, when you are not thinking. Otherwise, if you think and do meditation, it is not meditation. See? So when this activity is taking, when we say ajapa jap sthiti in Vaikhari Madhyama Pashyanti Para, in that process, when we say ajapa jap sthiti, what is happening? By default, the mind is chanting the mantra. And what are you doing? You are just watching. You are not interfering. You are not saying I am chanting. You are not saying I don't want it. You are just mere observer. Same way here, same thing is happening. He has reached that stage. Medhavi. So they are incapable, here in this point, they are incapable of ensnaring him with pleasure and pain because he is not attached to the karma phala, to the result of the action. Therefore, he is immune. Even an iota of value giving goes on, immediately raga dvesh will precipitate. Immediately. He does not consider any action as auspicious or inauspicious and performs it without a feeling of joy or hate, as the case may be. See? He does not consider any action to be auspicious or inauspicious. What do? Keep dividing all activity into a good activity and bad activity, auspicious or inauspicious, divine activity or undivine activity. Pilgrimage is a divine activity. Going to, if I say pilgrimage to the toilet, Swamiji, please mind your speech. Pilgrimage to toilet. See, immediately the reaction comes because we have divided the world into good and bad. And we have to come out of this. This is a prerequisite for to be realized, to be abiding in your own essential nature. That we have to go beyond all the pairs of Dvaita and Dvandva, all pairs of opposites. Only then the next question will be, who is this fellow who wants to go beyond the opposites now that he is not disturbed by the opposites? But as long as we are extroverted, we will be looking at that and we will be at the mercy of the opposites. He does not consider any action as auspicious or inauspicious and performs it without a feeling of joy or hate. Without a feeling of joy or hate. Then what is he doing? Whatever the nitya karmas are there and the naimittika karmas are there, your daily activity and your special activity, basically birthdays, pujas, this, that, etc. The samskaras are there. Those are the naimittika. He performs it without any like or dislike. To imagine that I am going to be like that, what they are telling here in this verse, then we are going the wrong way. It comes about as a result of purification. Purified mind is a single pointed mind, is an expanded mind, is a sattvic mind, is equal to Medhavi, which we'll see when it comes. So you are doing what has to be done without any sense of always I am only washing the dishes, nobody else washes the dishes. शुरू हो गए अपना तकिया कलाम. Every time I have to only take the glasses of water into the kitchen and keep them. Why don't you do it also? तुम्हारे पीछे नौकर लगे हैं क्या? Immediately judgment is going on. Whatever needs to be done, do it and forget it. See? Important thing is, what is your vision? What is your disposition? What is your position? Disposition. Disposition. Are you thinking about the karma? Are you thinking about its repercussions? Are you thinking about the karma phala? Are you thinking that you want something through the that this karma is inevitable? I must do it, otherwise, what will happen? I don't know what the result is, but I have to do it. We are going in the wrong way. Whatever is going on, let it go on. You stand apart. He has, a case maybe, he has no misgivings regarding such action, as one does not doubt about the unreality of things seen in the dream or on waking up. Such a sattvic person who has purified to such an extent, because he is medhavi also, he is purified also, he has come to recognize what? न कर्मणा न प्रजया धनेन त्यागेन ike amritatvamanashuh. That by being attached to the karma, I cannot gain immortality. So he has seen, he has understood. He is not like the tamasic. Acha, I want immortality, I'll give up the karma. He is not tamasic. He is not rajasic also. Oh, I will get into that activity which is conducive to me, that which is beneficial for me. That which I like, I will do. What I don't like, I will not do. You see? This is rajasic. And sattvic fellow, he does what is required to be done. Without, and he does not do it because he wants to do it. He does it because it is the right thing to do at that moment. It is happening. And his attention is not on the karma phala, the result. And even while performing the action, there is no mental commentary going on. Just as I was telling you before. This is very hard. I don't like to do it. Why every time I have to do these menial jobs and others are not doing, or they are all doing cushy jobs? No. Because his attention is on what? If you have come to this point of purification in the sattva, this dialogue cannot go on in his mind. Then he is performing his nitya namittika karma, he is avoiding or not initiating kamya karma, and this results in naishkarmya siddhi. Today's children, they say, we want to make an impact, at work, in society, in our life. And they're only one thing: I like to do this, I like to eat this, I like to see this movie, I like to drive, I like to like, and I will not do what I dislike. But what is Bhagavad Gita telling us? To avoid likes and dislikes. Raga dvesho samau kritva. Oh, sukha dukkha samay kritva. Not raga dvesho samau. Sukha dukkha, which leads to sukha dukkha anyway. So what is the secret of action? Perform action, that which has to be performed, that the situation demands or is invoking it out of you without your desire, and perform it with 100%. 100% availability will be when when you are not thinking about its results and when you are not dwelling in your past. Then you are 100% with what is happening at that moment. And when you are 100%, you are not allowing raga dvesha to, that I like this action, I don't like this action. Even though your attention is not on the karma phala, but it can happen that I like this action or I don't like this action because of some previous memory. So don't go into the past. That is the result of purification. That we are 100% with the Nitya Naimittika karma. It's a point where infinite energy is there with you. You never get tired. That does not mean that you become an workaholic. But you are not a person who is running away from what is required to be done. And for such a person, this action, it is not that when it says he is not doing this action with joy or hate. Last week or week before I explained to you, not with joy or hate, not for joy and hate. The action becomes the expression of the joy that the seeker is. See? Because without the seeker, without the person, without the contemplator, without the individual, action cannot happen. Action has to take place for someone, no? Action has got no life of its own. Because activity is only at the inert level, the faculties. Faculties, we saw yesterday, faculties cannot function without the impeller of the activity. Kene shitam. By whom are the activities activated? So this recognition, a natural, spontaneous, effortless recognition in such a sattvic seeker who has purified himself comes about. Understand the steps as Krishna Bhagavan is taking us through. Continuing, म्हणवनी कर्म आणि करता या द्वैत भावाची वार्ता नेणे तो पंडुसुता सात्विक त्यागू ऐसेनी कर्मे पार्था त्यजिली त्यजिती सर्वथा अधिके बांधिती अन्यथा सांडिली तरी. He therefore does not entertain a sense or duality between the action and its doer. See how wonderful. What does it mean that the karta and the karma are separate? Are one? When it is separate, the karta is separate to the karma, then like dislike will form. But if he is not seeing any duality between the karta and the karma, between the doer and the action and the doer of the action. And why is this? Because the karta has recognized that he is the Satchidanand Swarup, and karma is at the level of the faculties. And faculties are existing in their own absence, just as the blueness of the sky is existing in its own absence. That does not mean once you have known the blueness of the sky is existing in its own absence, that it will stop being blue from there onwards. It will continue to be blue. But you are not caught up. It has become crystal clear that it's an illusion. Same way, the karma is happening at the level of the faculties. The faculties are an expression of the ignorance. Or the other way you can put it, the faculties are the expression of the Maya, the Shakti. All the faculties are in the mind. If you put it this way also, it's okay. And mind is nothing but consciousness, and that consciousness I am. Therefore, truly, what exists is only the self. What I see, hear, touch, feel, think, ideate, imagine, that is all existing in its own absence. Let it happen. It's the Leela. I am giving words to all this. He is not going to think. Maybe once he will think like that. See? So when we have nothing to gain and nothing to lose, when there is no duality, everything I am, that is the impact of a purified mind. Purified mind, don't think it is only single pointed. Single pointed means you are looking only at one thing. Like the specialists in the hospital. If they are asked to look at our right ear, they will only look at right ear. Ayurveda looks at the whole body. So single pointedness does not mean only this much, that you are looking only at one. No, that looking at one is bringing about the acceptance of all as I. And that will only happen when you are looking at one whose nature is infinite. And who are you looking at? You are looking at the self. You are looking at the God, if you want to put that way. But here the word of God is not there, because God himself is speaking. So he therefore does not entertain a sense of duality between the action done and its doer. So when we say be 100% where your hands are, this is what it means. And when we are at one ment with what is taking place, we lose the sense of time, we lose the sense of space. We lose the sense of objectivity, because object is something other. Here it is talking about oneness, that the doer and the done are one, karta and karma are one. And this is not possible unless and until we have initiated karma phala sanga tyaga. That was the first step. That first step was told in the second chapter, karmanyeva adhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. In a different way it was told there, but same point. So now work on yourself. Remain aware 100% all the time. Do what is to be done without complaint, without telling anyone else. And our performance does not increase or decrease because of the appreciation of others, and does not decrease by the condemnation of others. We make sure that we do not tell others what they have to do. If we have not learned to control our mind and go beyond the mind or purify the mind, what right do we have to tell other people's mind what it has to do, when we have not even learned how to tell our own mind? It's a subjective journey, it's a subjective approach. You have to work on yourself only. That is the only jurisdiction we have. ourselves, not on others. Then it is known as Sattvika Tyaga. So, what is Sattvic Tyag now? The climax of the Sattvic Sthiti or Sattvic relinquishment is this, that the doer and the action are seen as one. They are not seen as separate by the doer. This is the result of purification. And many times during the day you are doing it. Don't be surprised. Whenever you feel that यार time pass ही नहीं हो रहा है, मतलब duality is 200% functioning. And at times when you feel अरे इतनी जल्दी टाइम चला गया, मैं सोचता अभी अभी तो मैंने शुरू किया था, अभी कदम में इतना टाइम हो गया, 4 घंटे हो गए, 2 घंटे हो गए, 2 hours have passed, 4 hours have passed, I didn't realize it. Because you are so engrossed in what you are doing that you lose the sense of time. This is called a Sattvic Tyag. If actions are relinquished in this way, they are relinquished entirely. If they are relinquished in any other way, they bring about greater bondage. So, relinquishment of action is not by stopping the activity. Relinquishment of action is while performing the action, while action is taking place. And how do you relinquish? By becoming one with it. By not becoming, by being one with it. And that will only be possible when the duality has dissolved itself. Duality will dissolve when first we have given up the karma phala tyaga. Then second, we have given up, we have stopped initiating activity by our wants and likes and wishes. When we are performing activity, because it has to be performed, there is no question of आज मूड नहीं है. So in this manner we, if any other way, it will lead to greater bondage, because there will be precipitation of likes, dislikes, there will be precipitation of ownership, there will be precipitation of value and importance giving to the action or the result or the purity itself. I am very purified भैया, तुम तो purified नहीं हो. मैं एक बारी में समझ जाता हूँ. ऐसे भी होते हैं ना लोग, that in one go they are able to understand. Because they are able to understand in one go, that becomes the ego trip now. So one has to be very careful that as we are coming close to this stage of Medhavi, that we protect our mind, that it is exposed only to the thoughts of the scriptures. And thoughts of the scriptures are not gained by reading. They are gained by Shravanam. They are expose your mind to satsang. Pray to Lord, expose me to such a satsang where I am not allowed to get attached to any damn thing in this creation. Not even to my karma, not even to my mind, not even to my memories. Bhagwan, only you can do it for me. Because left alone, we will go in some tangent. and we are unable to see that the mistake that we are making. You know, sometimes when we are doing Vedic chanting, the person thinks they are chanting correctly, but the teacher knows, the other person knows where the truti is, where the fault, uh, the improper pronunciation has taken place. And if the ego is strong, no, I said it correctly, I said it correctly. Sometimes it can happen. So we are not available to where the faults are within ourselves, sometimes in sattva, because we are holier than thou. I have purified myself. I am a devotee of the God. I do this, I do satsang, I do chanting, I read Bhagavad Gita, I do Vishnu Sahasranam. That can go to our head. If I do is going on, means you and the action are separate. Duality is maintained. And what is, so that means it is not sattvic. It is beginning of sattva. Medhavi position situation is not at the end it will come. As the purification is taking place, to that extent the Medhavi, what is Medhavi? Intuitive knowledge, spontaneous understanding. It also keeps developing within you as the purification is taking place. See? So in this manner, the न द्वेष्ट्य कुशलम कर्म कुशले नानुषज्यते त्यागी सत्व समाविष्टो मेधावी छिन्न संशयः. And having given up, and as a result of sattva, samavishtaha, he becomes one with the action. That's when the symptoms of this person for other people to observe, not to him, other people, is he has become medhavi, he understands, and there is no doubt whatsoever remaining in his mind. About what? About anything. About anything. What is anything? Jeev Jagat Ishwar, their relationship, who he is. Nothing. This is the result of purification. Oh, after karma, don't we have to do upasana? No question like this. Now you are imagining that something, अरे कर्म हो गया, अब क्या करेंगे? Upasana is also karma only at the mental level. So we are talking about activity. Identification with activity is karma. Disidentification with activity is witnessing. But here what are we talking about? Witnessing does not mean you become lazy. Witnessing doesn't mean that you initiate the activity which helps the whole world. No. You become one with the activity. See? The water doesn't say I am going to be water only after all the waves subside. The wave realizes that it is water, continues to be the wave after realization. This is Jivan Mukti while living, not posthumous. This point was coming yesterday. Pretya. Pretya means realization after the last breath. But we are talking, Upanishads are not addressing that seeker who wants to realize after the last breath or at the last breath. Upanishads are addressing, Bhagavad Gita is addressing that seeker who wants to be, who wants to recognize himself as the infinite here and now. Not tomorrow, not after death, right here and now. Such a person the Upanishads and the Bhagavad Gita is addressing. Bhagavatam also addressed such a person. He realized before death came. He didn't realize after death. He realized, King Parikshit realized himself before death came. So Takshak, he put his fangs into a carcass of the body. See? Medhavi Chinna Sanchaya. Such a person is Medhavi and Chinna Sanchaya. All the doubts have been cut asunder. Nothing. And the doubts are only about, as I said, Jeev, Jagat, Ishwar. Relationship between Jiva and Jagat. Relationship between Jiva and Ishwar. Relationship between Ishwara and the Jeev. Relationship between Ishwara and the Jagat. These are the 6 questions, and the 7th is what is required to be practiced so that I come out of all, get this understanding and transcend. These are the 7 questions. He has got no answers. Sorry, he has got no doubt as regards that anymore. And these are the 6 questions which the scriptures are addressing. So that we stop becoming obsessed by the Jivahood, we stop getting obsessed by the Ishwarahood, we stop getting obsessed by the Jagathood, meaning relations and possessions. Because now we have understood what their position is. They are only because of the other two. Who knows these 3 and their relationships? That one you are. So these Jeev, Jagat, Ishwar at the highest level of understanding is nothing but the expression of the consciousness that I am. And this, when this consciousness expresses through the conditionings, at that very moment, the macro and the micro are created. The macro is called the Ishvara. With respect to the macro, the consciousness is called Ishvara. With reference to the micro, the consciousness is called Jiva. And the cricket field for both of them to play is the Jagat. गेम शुरू हो गया और क्या, किसी एक को निकाल दो. Last week also, somewhere I must have said, and I say it quite often, you cannot do anything about the Jagat, you cannot do anything about the Ishvara, you can only work on yourself. So if the batsman is not ready to play, can the bowler bowl? Can the world throw experiences at you if you are not ready to play? If you are not ready to receive the ball, Immediately the game is null and void. What will the umpire do? Ishvara. What will the umpire do? He can't do anything. What will the Jagat do? The ground. It is inert anyway. Think. ओ यहाँ पे एक और है क्या? नहीं, ये पढ़ लिया. नाउ इन द 11th वर्स ज्ञानेश भगवान सेज न हि देहभृता शक्यम, न हि देहभृता शक्यम त्यक्तुं कर्माण्यशेषतः, त्यक्तुं कर्माण्यशेषतः यस्तु कर्मफलत्यागी, यस्तु कर्मफलत्यागी स त्यागीत्यभिधीयते, स त्यागीत्यभिधीयते. न हि देहभृता शक्यं त्यक्तुं कर्माण्यशेषतः यस्तु कर्मफलत्यागी स त्यागीत्यभिधीयते. In the 11th verse he says, nor indeed can an embodied being renounce actions altogether. He who forgoes the fruit of action is said to be the relinquisher. Who is Tyagi? Who has done karma phala tyaga. And who is? See, in the 9th verse it was sangam tyaktva phalam cha satyagaha. In the 11th verse it is here in this 11th verse it said yastu karma phalatyagi, yah tu karma phalatyagi. So we have to give up the attachment to the karma phala. So what does he say here? आणि हागा सव्यसाची मूर्ती लाहो निदेहाची खंती करीती कर्माची ते गावडेत गा मृत्तिकेचा वीटू घेऊनी काय करील घटू केऊता ताथुपटू सांडिल तो तेवीची वन्हित्व आंगी आणि उबे उबगणे आगी की तो दीपू प्रभे लागी द्वेषु करील काई. So he says, O Arjuna, O Savyasachi, another name of Arjuna, they who having got the body feel an aversion towards action are boorish. After having got the body feeling an aversion towards action, body is meant for activity. After getting the car, have you bought the car to park it in the garage and keep it fresh all the time? Or have you bought it so that you can use it extensively to get the things done what you need to get done? Or have you got it there to appreciate? Why? It's collector's item. And leave it in the garage. The body is here. Keep it serviced. Take care of it. But use it. Only when we use it, it will be purified. Keep it lazy. Don't use it. It will collect moss. What is moss? Disease, decay. That is coming anyway. It will be preponed if we don't use it. So feel an aversion towards action are boorish. They are very, very egoistic. Those who do not want to use the body for activity. Those who feel in the name of spirituality, avoiding activity is spirituality. avoidance of activity is spirituality? No. See, when the corona began, corona became more. Corona began, corona became more. Almost 18-20 classes every week I'm taking. Before I was happy, only few classes. See? But that time activity was different type. Now it is different. But we do not shirk away because corona, nobody is coming. No, I have to be busy. I have to take care of myself. I have to use this. Go cycling, go walking, go 1,000 steps. Do chanting, read Bhagavad Gita, everyday satsang. नहीं यार क्या करना है, make this as an excuse. Corona hai, no classes, chalo let's sleep and watch all the serials and just vegetate away the 1 year. I've become fitter in last 1 year physically. See? So there should be no aversion towards activity. Aversion will mean dislike. Aversion will mean hatred. Then there will be aversion. As if activity is a punishment. Like when children are playing and you tell them 9 o'clock, kids go to sleep. Everyone enjoys sleep, but they take it as a punishment. Why mommy is telling us to go to sleep when we are enjoying ourselves? So a seeker must not take a dislike or aversion towards the actions. How can an earthen pot abhor the clay? How can a pot dislike the clay? Because without clay, pot cannot be. So how can you have aversion for the pot? You alone are the material. Mud is the material and mud is the pot. You are the source and you alone are expressing as the body. Consciousness crystallized in, and this crystallization of consciousness by way of conditionings of Desha Kala Vastu, by way of Maya, by way of Prakriti, the crystallization of brings about the Deha. So who is Dehabhruta? Dehabhruta is he who is very, very identified with the body as I. And here the verse said, Nahi Dehabhruta Shakyam. We are talking about the sattvic person. Nahi Deha, indeed. Na Shakyam Dehabhruta. He has no doubt that he is not the body. The body consciousness is gone from him in toto as a result of purification. How can the earthen pot abhor the clay? Can the cloth forsake the yarn? Without the yarn, cloth cannot be. Without the thread, cloth cannot be. What is cloth? A matrix of thread. Some threads going this way, some threads going this way. That the result is the cloth. But actually it is nothing but thread. So what is mind? What is this world? What is this body? Some consciousness going this way and consciousness going that way. What is a wave? Water coming this way and water coming that way. A wave is created. There is no other material to bring about a wave. So recognize, yes, initial stages we did say body and mind, body and the consciousness are separate. But here we are now going into Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma. Don't stop the purity at I have separated from the body. You have become one with the act itself. And to be one with the act, there should be no doubt that the action which is happening at the body level, or activity happening at the body level, that body is none other than not only this body I am, all the bodies I am. So your status, your acknowledgement of this body is equal to I, and so also with respect to all other bodies, every form. Then you are there at one ment with the action. How can the fire feel troubled by its own heat? Can the heat burn the fire? So how can the body trouble me? Now these are the contemplations. You have to sit by yourself, think in these lines. Why am I having a dislike towards my body? Is it because it is not doing what I want it to do? Oh, which means the problem is I want it to do something. Is it because I am tired or get tired when I use this body? Is it because I want something from when I use this body, I get something as a result? And what is the understanding that is being given here with these three examples? The mud alone is the pot, the water alone is the wave, the yarn itself is the cloth, and the heat is not other than the fire. What is heat? An attribute, a quality. Does the fire know it is hot? No. Other people say fire is hot. Can fire be cold? No. So similarly, consciousness is that which is all inclusive. Just as fire is inclusive of heat and light, it does not know heat and light as separate qualities from itself because it is that. But in our case, we know that there is a body. It's an objective approach. We have failed to understand that consciousness is one without a second. So when we say body is separate to us, duality is maintained. I am thinking, duality is maintained. Aham and idam. Only when we see the aham vritti and idam vritti, the I thought and the that thought, I am the body. When you recognize that the aham and the idam are both expressions of consciousness alone, then what Jnaneshwar Maharaj or our Bhagwan is telling here, that will click. It has to click only. It cannot be understood. Can the lamp hate its own light? Can the lamp hate its own light? The body is alive because of consciousness. Can, and when I'm saying body, body means gross, subtle, and causal, okay? Body, breath, mind, intellect. So, can the mind hate consciousness? Can the mind hate consciousness? And what is consciousness? All inclusive principle. Then how can the mind hate the body and the whole world? Can it hate? Can it dislike? Can it be have aversion towards the world or the body? If it has, this mind has not recognized consciousness, because mind can never come to know the consciousness, because it is consciousness in and through. It has no astitva apart from consciousness. Just like wave has got no existence apart from water, mind has got no existence apart from pure consciousness. So how can it hate? It has got limited knowledge about it. About what? About its own nature. And that's what we are doing. Now all this seeking and listening and understanding, this interaction is happening at the mind level. Body is parked. Gross body is parked. Breath is going on. Mind is active, trying to work out. What is trying to work out? Who am I? What is this? This is all inclusive principle which is eluding me all the time. Who is this I? So the journey, the seeking is in the mind, by the mind, for the mind. And when it comes to a point where it cannot seek anymore, that when it clicks. But it clicks only when the master speaks. Otherwise we'll go into niruddha sthiti. We'll go into emptiness otherwise. That time a reminder has to be there. Continuing. हिंगूत्रासिला घाणी तरी कैचे सुगंधत्व आणि द्रवपण सांडूनी पाणी केरा हे ते तैसा शरीराचे नि आभासे नांद तू जव असे तव कर्म त्यागाचे पिसे काहीसे तरी आपण लाविजे टिळा म्हणावनी पुसो ये वेळोवेळा माघाली फेडी निडळा का करू ये गा तैसे विहित स्वये आदरिले म्हणाहुनी त्यजू ये त्यजिले परी कर्मची देह आतले ते का सांडील गा जे श्वासोच्छ्वासवरी होत निजेलिया ही वरी काही न करणे याची परी होती जयाची. He says, where can हिंग, पता है हिंग यहाँ पे लिखा ना, हिंगूत्रासिला घाणी. हिंग इज एस्टोफिटिडा. So where can asphodida find fragrance? If it feels nausea for its bad smell, its its smell is so pungent. It comes from, but it's looking. Where is the smell coming from? Where is the? It's coming from you only, man. If how can the water exist without its fluidity? In the same way, so long as one identifies himself with the body in delusion, is it not a silly idea to forsake action? So, a foregone conclusion. That is, as long as you are identified with the body, you are considering yourself with the body, you've got only one right. And what is that right? Perform actions. You cannot avoid actions. Sattvic state is perform action. Don't shy away from it. Because only by performing action purification can come about. By giving up action, purification doesn't come about. So, is it not a silly idea to forsake action? Yes, it is a silly idea. That is what majority people do. They want the bliss of the sleep, so they give up the activity. Child sleeps only when he is completely exhausted. He keeps pulling, 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 pulling. What do we tell ourselves? Yaar, minimum 8 or 10 hours sleep is very necessary to be fresh next day. Otherwise, our performance next day will be not 100%. One has to rest. So, what do? I go to bed at 8 o'clock and get up at 8 o'clock. 12 hours. Yeah, I need a little bit more to be fresh. Some people 10 hours, some people 8 hours, some people 6 hours, some people 4 hours. I know one person, if he goes to sleep at 10 o'clock at night, if he gets up at night, if it is as 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock, if he gets up while turning or Lagu Shanka, go to the loo, for any reason to drink water, if his eyes open up, whatever the time is, he will not go to sleep after that. He said that means nature wanted me to sleep that much, and he'll sit in meditation in the middle of the night. Don't try that. It must happen naturally. नहीं तो भूत की तरह से अगले दिन घूमते हुए नजर आओगे. हाँ? One can efface the mark of sandal paste on his forehead put by himself and put it again. But how can one erase the lines written on his forehead, one's destiny? Here Jnaneshwar Maharaj is saying we can put the different marks, the bindi, the nama, or the, the lines of vibhuti. You can put them, you can rub them, you can put them again, you can rub them again. But how can you rub the lines of your destiny, your prarabdha? How can you rub it? How can you erase them? Can you erase them? I'm asking. Can you erase the lines of destiny? Can you erase the lines of destiny? Huh? But what? Like we erase this is the physical erasing, isn't it? Can you erase your destiny?
As a person, as Jiva can't erase the destiny.
Then who can?
The Atman.
From Atman point of view, there is nothing called destiny.
Realize that everything will disappear.
Correct,
What
because you are the jiva, no? Right now, who's answering? The jiva is only answering.
as a person, yes, Jiva cannot erase the destiny.
Yeah, but how do you uh, neutralize the impact of destiny? What is destiny?
Yeah.
What is destiny? I'm asking. Huh?
Sanchita karma.
What is destiny?
The past actions
Anyone else? What is destiny?
or prarabdha.
Prarabdha, not sanchit karma. Prarabdha is our destiny.
Yes.
How is it? How did it get formed?
In previous births, correct?
Bolo Meena.
Likes and dislikes, as well as attaching to the karma phala.
So when we are getting attached to karma phala, which leads to likes and dislikes, we are creating impressions which become sanchit karma, and when the conditions are right, they appear as manifest themselves, isn't it? That is the cycle.
Yes.
Now, how can you reduce them?
Sangam Tyakva Phalam. We can reduce it.
Correct, we can reduce, but to sangam tyaktva phalam we can reduce it, but that will take care only of the future. Agami karma it will take care of. Can you have karma phala without karma? Can you have karma phala independent of the karma? So karma is necessary, isn't it? Action is necessary. Only when there is an action, there will be some consequence. But now we are not interested in the consequence. We are not interested in the karma phala. That is different. But if you don't perform the action itself, how will you purify? You are getting what we are telling? The only way you can purify yourself while living of your destiny is through karma. First stage is karma phala tyaga. Second stage is, here we are talking about tyaga, we are not talking about sannyasa. So therefore, here second stage is that you don't what do you call, you become one with the activity that is taking place. You don't initiate anything by your wish or desire. You allow activity to happen. If we have aversion towards activity, more activity will come towards us. And eventually you will get frustrated with the whole thing, and there will be a breakdown. So how do we, I have not got to where Jnaneshwar Maharaj is taking, but just like we can rub away the marks on our forehead and replace them again, can we erase our destiny? Have the realized masters erased their destiny? Have they realized the truth while living? Those are the realized masters, isn't it? Can you realize the truth without having erased the destiny? Now, if you want to erase the destiny step by step, that will be the yoga marg or the kundalini marg or whatever. But here we are talking about that destiny is only of the matter. of the faculties, nothing to do with the spirit. Destiny is not for the consciousness. Destiny is for the individual. And who is individual? Who is identified with the body as I. If you have recognized that you and the body are one, where's the question of destiny then? And yet destiny for other people, oh look, he had a cancer, oh look at that Mahatma, he had an accident, oh look at that fellow, realized master, he lost his eye. People are saying, but for that master who has come to abide in himself, for him there is no destiny, he is everything. Have we come to that disposition yet? If not, perform actions 110%. Be one with the activity that is taking place at any given moment, without attachment to the result. Then the impact of destiny is neutralized. You are not creating more data then. Old data is working out, new data is not created. Eventually a point will come where there is nothing to come out and nothing is going in. There you are. This is exactly what is taking place when you go to deep sleep also. There is nothing to look forward to because there is no object of contemplation. You call it sleep, but it is nothing. Nothing is not a thing. But no new data about the waking world is coming in because you are not available to it. And all activity is still going on. You're drinking your glass of milk with the turmeric and then changing into the night clothes, then getting into the bed. All this is activity only. But your attention is not on that. Your attention is on sleep. If it is on consciousness, then you will be in meditation. So you're neutralizing it. So everything, just as when you wake up, none of the actions, none of the body that you had in your dream has any impact on you once you wake up. You don't hold on to the body of the dream. You don't hold on to the body, the karmas of the dream. Everything becomes null and void the moment you wake up. The moment we become at one, the moment we recognize that we are the essence, the moment we recognize we are the one, we are the all-inclusive, not we as in I is the on, this consciousness is the all-inclusive principle. The entire universe, creation, is in the mind, not outside the mind. To recognize the all-inclusivity, you have to first remove this doubt from your mind that you are in the world. And this will not click till your mind is not a little bit purified. So while living in the world, thinking that you are a part of this world, perform the actions without expectation of a result. So future is taken care of, mind is purified, suddenly something new understanding in this purified mind takes place, and slowly you will recognize that the whole world is nothing but an expression, is nothing but your mind. Just like wave is nothing but the waters or the ocean, whichever way you put. So all the thoughts, the whole world is nothing but thoughts. All thoughts cannot be outside the mind, they are in the mind only. Grossified thoughts are called, at a body level, grossified thought is called speech, and speech is always about something. The speech will illuminate something. Must have its corresponding. So that material is there, the whole universe. One can at most forsake the action which is fit to be undertaken according to the scriptures. So if you are still deha bhrut, you are identified with the body. Na deha bhrut, you are disidentified with the body. But if we are still identified with the body, and don't imagine that you are not. If we are identified with the body, here he says that one can at most forsake the action which is fit to be undertaken. So you give up the kamya karma, you give up the nishiddha karma, but nitya and naimittika karma you must perform as long as you are identified with the body. We must not give that up. And how do we perform? According to the scriptural injunctions. But scriptures are so many, I don't understand. Attend satsang, whatever you get, you follow that in life. Or if you have any your Guru Maharaj, take guidance, they will tell you. Or listen to your conscience, that will never guide you wrong. Fit to be undertaken according to the scriptures, but how could actions natural to the body be relinquished? For a man has to continue the action of breathing even when asleep, and this is so even if he sits quietly doing nothing. So, the activity at the body level, the heart is beating, the breath is breathing, going in and out, the eyes are blinking, the anger is coming and going. All these are also activities at the body level. They'll go on. This you cannot run away from. But he is not identified with this one body. This is the secret of it. For other people, Mahatma is suffering. But for Mahatma, everything is he. So where is the question of suffering? Everything is he. All inclusive. We'll start from 226th verse next week. We'll look at this point again. So, we are understanding thoda bahut that don't run away from action. Perform the action. Our right, as long as we think we are the body, we have to perform. And do it in the right manner. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ हरि ओम।